The gleaming Blackwood Enterprises skyscraper stood as a testament to unyielding ambition, its glass facade reflecting the relentless pulse of the city below. Inside the bustling lobby, Emilio Harper, 28 years old and still nursing the wounds of a toxic breakup, clutched his resume like a lifeline. His ex had been a controlling force, manipulating every aspect of his life until he felt like a shadow of himself. Now he sought redemption in this new role as assistant to the infamous Isabella Blackwood, the woman who had built an empire from the ashes of betrayal. "Hi, I'm here for the assistant position." "Emilio Harper," he told the receptionist, his warm brown eyes betraying a mix of hope and trepidation. She nodded curtly, directing him to the elevator that whisked him upward, the hum of machinery mirroring the quickening beat of his heart. As the doors closed, Emile stared at his reflection in the mirrored walls, wondering if this was the fresh start he craved or just another cage. His mind wandered to his ex, the way she dictated his every move, from what he wore to whom he spoke with. "Never again," he whispered to himself, steeling his resolve. In Isabella Blackwood's office, the air was thick with authority. At 35, Isabella was a vision of power, sleek, black hair cascading over sharp features, piercing green eyes that could dissect a soul, and a faint scar on her wrist from a past confrontation that had nearly cost her everything. She was mid-call when Emile entered, her voice slicing through the speaker like a blade. "If they don't comply, crush them." "I don't negotiate with fools," she snapped, hanging up abruptly. Her gaze locked onto him, and Emile felt the weight of it, his athletic build tensing under her scrutiny. He was handsome in a quiet way, with broad shoulders and a smile that hinted at hidden depths. But Isabella saw something more, a vulnerability she wanted to claim. She had risen from poverty after her parents' abandonment, clawing her way to the top through sheer will. Men had tried to own her before, but she always turned the tables, possessing them instead. Emile, with his earnestness, stirred something primal in her, a desire not just for control but for connection. "Ms. Blackwood, I'm Emile, your new assistant," he said, trying to sound confident despite the flutter in his chest. "Emile," she replied, standing and circling him slowly, her heels clicking on the marble floor like a predator's steps. "Your file is intriguing, but men like you often underestimate women like me. Sit." He obeyed, settling into the chair as she leaned against her desk, too close for comfort. The scent of her perfume, something dark and intoxicating, like jasmine and leather, filled the space between them. "Why this job?" "The truth," she demanded, her voice low and commanding. "I need a challenge," he admitted, his voice steady. "My last relationship, she controlled everything. Left me broken. I want to prove myself." "Control," Isabella echoed, a dark smile playing on her lips. "That's a woman's game. I excel at it. It keeps empires standing." She handed him a stack of files, their fingers brushing in a spark of electricity that sent a shiver through him. He pulled back slightly, intrigued and unsettled, then dove into the work. As he typed and organized, Isabella watched him intently from her desk, her possessiveness stirring like a storm on the horizon. She admired his efficiency, the way his brow furrowed in concentration, and felt an unfamiliar pull, a desire to own not just his skills, but his very essence. Hours passed, the office humming with activity. Emile sorted through contracts, his mind occasionally drifting to Isabella's gaze on him. He wondered what it would be like to be desired by someone so powerful, yet he feared repeating his past mistakes. By late afternoon, the tension was palpable. Isabella approached, unbuttoning the top of her blouse just enough to reveal a hint of smooth skin. "You're quick, but distracted. What's troubling you?" she asked, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. The touch was electric, sending warmth through his body. "This place. It's overwhelming. You seem unstoppable," he replied, glancing up at her. "Unstoppable. That's how I survive. I built this from ashes. No room for weakness. But you're strong, yet vulnerable." She stepped closer, her presence overwhelming. Emile didn't flinch. Instead, he felt a strange thrill. "Miss Blackwood, Call me Isabella. And tell me, Emile, is there a woman in your life?" "No, not anymore," he said, his voice softening. "Good, because your focus is mine now." Their eyes met, tension crackling like static. She leaned in, her lips inches from his, but her phone buzzed. A call from Victoria Lang, her cunning former partner, who had betrayed her years ago. Victoria was a rival CEO, envious and ruthless, who had stolen a major deal and left Isabella with that scar during a heated confrontation. "What is it, Victoria?" Isabella answered coldly, her eyes never leaving Emile's. "Heard you're hiring new help? Keep him away from me, or I'll make him mine." Victoria sneered over the line, her voice dripping with malice. Isabella's eyes narrowed, fury flashing. "Stay late. We have unfinished business," she told Emile after hanging up, her tone leaving no room for argument. He nodded, a mix of excitement and nervousness coursing through him. As the office emptied, Emile's thoughts raced. What was he getting into? Isabella's possessiveness was intoxicating, but he remembered his ex's grip, how it had suffocated him. Yet with Isabella it felt different, like a fire that could warm rather than burn. As night fell, the office transformed into a cocoon of intimacy. City lights twinkled through the windows like distant stars. Emile organized the remaining files while Isabella poured 2 glasses of red wine, handing him one. "Drink. It sharpens the senses," she said, her voice a velvet command. "I don't usually," he began, but she cut him off. "Tonight you do. Tell me about your ex. What did she do?" She sipped her wine, watching him intently. Sipping hesitantly, Emile opened up, the wine loosening his tongue. "She owned me, manipulated every decision, every emotion. I left, but it shattered me. I swore I'd never be possessed again." His words hung in the air, raw and honest. "Possessed? That's not ownership. That's surrender," Isabella replied, setting her glass down. "I don't own, I claim, protect. And you, I want to claim you." She stood, pulling him to his feet. Her hand cupped his face, thumb tracing his jawline. "Say no and I'll stop, but I see it in your eyes. You crave this." "I do," he breathed, his heart pounding. She kissed him then, dominant, claiming, her lips demanding submission. Emile responded eagerly, his hands finding her waist as they stumbled toward the desk. Clothes loosened in a frenzy. Her blouse fell open, revealing lace beneath, while his shirt was unbuttoned to expose his toned chest. Isabella's touch was possessive, her fingers exploring his body with a hunger that made him moan. She whispered commands, "Touch me here. Say my name," guiding him as they surrendered to passion. Their bodies merged on the desk, papers scattering in waves of ecstasy that left them breathless. Isabella straddled him, her hips grinding against his, taking control as he gasped beneath her. The intensity built, her nails raking his back, until they climaxed together, cries echoing in the empty office. Fade into the night, their connection deepening. Morning light filtered through the curtains of Isabella's penthouse, casting a golden glow over the luxurious bed. Emile woke tangled in satin sheets, his body aching pleasantly from the night before. Isabella, draped in a silk robe, brewed coffee in the adjacent kitchen, watching him with a mix of desire and unexpected softness. "This is insane. One night, and now," he murmured, sitting up. "Now you're mine. Breakfast?" She approached, feeding him a strawberry, her fingers lingering on his lips. The intimacy was overwhelming, yet thrilling. But her phone buzzed. Victoria again, her voice taunting over the speaker. "Isabella, darling, saw your new assistant at the event tonight. He's delicious. Mind if I chat?" "Touch him and you're finished," Isabella replied icily, hanging up. Emile overheard, his brow furrowing in concern. "Who's Victoria? She sounds dangerous." he asked, pulling the sheet around him. A shadow from my past. She betrayed me, stole a deal, left me scarred. She thinks she can steal what's mine. But she can't. Isabella's voice was fierce, but her eyes softened as she pulled him close, kissing his chest. They made love again, slower this time, her control blending with tenderness. She straddled him, guiding their rhythm, whispering, "You're mine, Emile," as he arched beneath her. The passion built to another climax, their bodies moving in perfect sync, leaving them spent and entwined. "I love you, Emile, more than I ever imagined," she confessed afterward, tracing patterns on his skin. "I love you too. But this world, it's risky," he replied, tears glistening in his eyes. He felt seen for the first time, not controlled, but cherished. The charity gala that evening was a whirlwind of elegance and danger. Isabella and Emile arrived arm in arm, him in a sharp suit that accentuated his athletic frame, her in a sleek black dress that hugged her curves. The venue buzzed with elite guests, but Victoria approached, her smirk venomous. "Emile, right? Isabella's little toy. Dance with me?" she purred, her hand brushing his arm. "He's not dancing with you. Leave," Isabella interjected, her arm possessively around Emile's waist. "Or what? You'll destroy me? I've got secrets on you, Isabella. That merger you secured last year, let's just say I have proof it wasn't all above board," Victoria hissed, her eyes gleaming. Isabella tensed, memories flooding back. Flashback to the betrayal. In a dimly lit boardroom years ago, Victoria had stabbed her in the back, literally, during a scuffle over documents, leaving the scar on her wrist. Figuratively, too, by leaking secrets that nearly ruined Isabella's career. Emile sensed her pain and stepped forward. "She's mine. Stay away," he said firmly, his voice steady. Victoria laughed mockingly but retreated. Isabella pulled Emile to a private alcove, her facade cracking. "Victoria nearly broke me, but you heal me. I need you," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "Then trust me. We're partners in this," he assured her, cupping her face. They kissed passionately, hands exploring under his shirt, the heat building until they couldn't wait. Sneaking back to the penthouse, they barely made it through the door before clothes were shed again. In the bedroom, Isabella was unguarded, vulnerable in a way she'd never allowed before. "I've been alone so long. You make me feel alive," she whispered, her fingers threading through his hair. "And you make me feel powerful. Claim me, Isabella. All of me," Emile urged, pulling her closer. They made love fiercely, Isabella dominant yet loving, pinning him gently, her body moving with commanding grace. Emile embraced her fully, their connection deepening. She rode him slowly at first, then faster, her nails digging into his shoulders as pleasure built. "You're mine forever," she gasped, climax approaching. He flipped her over, taking control briefly, their bodies slick with sweat, moans echoing. The ecstasy peaked in waves, leaving them breathless and bonded. But the next day, a business crisis erupted. Victoria leaked documents to the press, accusing Isabella of unethical practices in that old merger. The scandal threatened Blackwood Enterprises, stock prices plummeting. Isabella paced her office, fury and fear warring within her. Emile, now fully integrated into her world, stood by her side. "We'll fight this," he said, researching counter-evidence. Their bond strengthened through the ordeal. Late nights in the office turned intimate, with Isabella opening up about her lonely childhood. "I was abandoned, Isabella. Control is my shield," she confessed one night, tears rare in her eyes. He held her, promising to stand with her.